Ladies and gems, we've got yet another Gibson original robot guitar, which has, as far as I can tell, not been played. These things came out in 2007, so let's just have a little look, and we do have some very happy news with this one. I can tell by looking at the charger that, well, it's never been used, but luckily, let's have a look at this. Very fortunately, it's doing the right kind of thing in terms of that flashing light that you can see. And the way that it charges up, even probably slightly more weirdly, is just through a regular jack socket, which is pretty cool. Now, the thing about these is that the strings are all... Oh, my little monitor's not working, never mind. So the strings, I reckon, are the original 2007 ones. And so, as you will see, in here, inside the sock tail, there are little ceramic inserts there that keep each string isolated. And the reason for this is because the strings talk to this master control knob here, this thing, and then they talk to the ugly but efficient tronical tuners around the back of the headstock here. So today's mission is to get this thing charged up. Let's get some new strings on it, and then hopefully everything will talk to each other rather nicely. String change on these, dead easy. Really, probably easier than normally aspirated. So I shall leave that running for a bit, and yeah, get some new strings on it. Let's see what happens. So very happily, it has now charged up, which is great news, because of course these are 2007 instruments, and I can tell you that in the last 15 years this has not even had the charger plugged in, but it's as absolutely right as ninepence. And even if the batteries on these have collapsed, there are a few little options. Option number one is that on the tuning pegs here, let me see if I can get you a little bit closer in. On the tuning pegs here, you simply disengage them. He said, simply. Just give it a little wiggle and pull it out. I know that's the opposite way around of things normally, but just give it a little, just so that you're not going to jam the cogs or interfere with them. Everything should be done gently. A little wiggle like this. And so now when you disengage the keys, you can use them as regular, standard tuning keys. And they do have a 40:1 ratio. 40:1. That's 40. So plenty of fine tuning available there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to loosen those off, and we'll put some new strings on. And this is important because, you know, I showed you the stop tail before with those little ceramic inserts that shield each string from cross talking. Somehow, and I don't know how, to be honest with you, but somehow the power goes through the... Does it go through the string, or is there some kind of witchcraft that goes on? But anyway, it certainly is the string that transmits, because the battery's in here, this control switch is here that does all the trickery, and somehow that power gets through to these bulky machine heads here at the head of the guitar. And I do confess not to know precisely how that works, but it does. And certainly there is an electrical signal of some type that is transmitted through the string. So the thing is this, is that if the strings are old and knackered, then they won't talk to what's going on at the top here. So therefore we shall fit new strings. So let's have these off and then I'll show you what happens next. Okay, so these really are just like the easiest locking tuners in the world. Just make sure that so there's a hole in the capstan down here, and so make sure the hole is facing the nut, or you know, the direction of travel the string will naturally take. Obviously you're going to throw it through the stop tail, and well, I mean really, so you just hold it hand tight like this, and then you pop the little knurled screw in, just hand tighten it, nip off your string, and of course your tuning key is disengaged, or disengaged from the electronics, which means that you can use it as a regular tuner. And then I'm just going to bring it up somewhere near I shall now re-engage the tuning key. I'm just going to a little wiggle, make sure it sits in neatly, and then we'll tune it up electronically at the end. Okay. Right, okay, I don't know if this works, otherwise I'm going to look like a writing monkey. So, well, it's all restrung, beautifully out of tune, so let's see if it will do its party trick. Bless my soul. After 15 years sat in a box, it works like an absolute blinder. And what they do, oh yes, and so the blue light tells us that we're all in tune. And the other feature that they have is that when you pull out this master control knob, the MCK as it's very cleverly named, it almost 100% mutes the sound that's coming from the output here. So we push it back in and hopefully perfect, utterly perfect. And what I would say, I mean obviously we've got to ask ourselves a few questions about these, haven't we? I mean, for a start, are the original Tronicals as good as the modern Tronicals, the little black box ones? Well, to be fair, probably not, you know, but these were the very first. These were the world's first, according to Gibson's, you know, propaganda, that were made like this. So hopefully we'll get this reviewed very shortly. So thanks all. Yeah, so that's it. String change, breeze, and you know, push of a button, all tunes up, and there's an insane amount of tunings. There's an insane amount of factory preset tunings that you can access, and you can even teach it to learn out of tune and all sorts of different weird tunings. It involves reading a book, not really my strong suite, I'm afraid, but I am happy that this has not been out of its box in 15 years, and it is absolutely bang on. And you know, we will have a chat about this in the review, but certainly Well, it's like a brand new guitar, basically. Right, okay. With that, I shall say thanks all as much tuning in, and it's adios, amigos. Ta-ra.